Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be covering how we can make some more sophisticated views and displays in our map window. Let's get started. So in our previous videos, we had loaded data such as production data, log data, tops, well headers. We also set up our projections and our zones. We had loaded our deviation surveys, and we had also uh, made some structure and isopack maps, and here I'm showing our one of our structure grids here. So let's say I wanted to come in and make this map view a bit more sophisticated. So I may want to start off by adding some shapefiles, and I'm going to start off with my counties, and these were ones that we had already loaded in the loading data video. I'm going to give this a thickness of 2 and click add, and I'm also going to add some township and range here. So I'm going to add our townships. I'm going to give this a thickness of 1. And I'm going to make this a dark gray instead of black, so it's a little bit lighter. Okay, now we can see the map is sitting on top of that. And I would really like our counties to be on top, followed by our townships. So I'm just going to drag and drop those to the top of my layer selector. Okay, and now we can see those lines more clearly. Now, one of the questions I often get is, hey, I don't want to see the Google Maps background. I want just a solid white background. Well, probably the easiest way to do that is, once again, we can just go to our shape here, and we're going to select Wyoming counties again. We are going to make the lines white, and we're going to make the fill white, and we're going to click add. And now we have this extra shapefile here on the bottom that we are using to make a white background. And if we zoom out far enough outside the state, we can see that we have, the Google map is still back there. So, we're just hiding it away, so to say. And, if you need to do this for a bigger area, you can, of course, load up a map of the US or Canada or wherever your area of interest is and color that white and put it in the background. Okay, so now that we've done that, what if we wanted to show some acreage and color that? So I've, outside of this project, I had actually loaded up some acreage already. So we're going to choose a shapefile. We're going to choose our Campbell acreage. We're going to give it a border of 1. We're going to give it a nice gold color fill here. We're going to add that, and we're going to move this up. And here we can see, our company's acreage holdings. We can see we've got, several sections that we've leased. It excuse me there with the coughing. If we want to put this acreage below our cross-section outlines, we can just drag that into the appropriate order here in our layer selection menu. Now, let's say we wanted to, here, if you remember, we're displaying a subset of our wells. What if we wanted to, for example, show all the wells that are, all the horizontal wells that are drilled in the Niobrara Formation? What we could do is we could select well markers. We can select our headers. We can select an auxiliary production data set here. And let's say we only want to see things that have a 4,000 foot or longer lateral and that are producing from the Niobrara Formation. We have those 284 wells. We'll click add, and we are going to drag that well database up here so it's displaying on top of our map. And now we can see that we have these horizontal wells. What if we wanted to add some cumulative production bubbles? Well, if we've got those as a points file in Danomics, we could bring in the points. We also have a kind of an easy method here for cumulative production bubbles, where we can just choose our headers, our production. We only want to show this for the same wells here, so I'm going to once again filter on lateral length and the producing formation, and then click add. And I'm just going to drag those up into the order that I want them. And so now we can see our cumulative production bubbles from those Niobrara wells. Okay, so now we have made for ourselves a more sophisticated map view. So there are a couple more things we can do here in the map window. So I am going to, if you remember, we had made our cross sections earlier. Now I want to show you how we can make a couple of extra view here. So I'm going to rearrange some things so we have a bit more room. And I'm going to come here to this menu, and I'm going to add tab. I'm going to add a 3D view. Okay, and we'll see that, it starts off with just got some well headers in here. Maybe not tremendously useful for this view, but we've got those as our starting point here. And let's say we want to add some well bores. So we want to see those. So we're going to choose our headers, and we're going to choose our process deviations, and we're going to choose add. And now we can see that we have our wells here. And if we want to make those a little bigger, we can turn on some vertical exaggeration in here. All right, so now we can see those a bit better. And if you zoom out too far, you can always zoom back in by clicking over here on our well database. You can click the little icon here that zooms you back to the extents. Okay, so let's say we want to display a few grids in here. We can display a grid. And let's say we're going to choose our structure grid. And we don't want to display all the grids here, but we're going to display the Parkman and the Niobrara. We'll click add. And now we see that we are displaying those two grids in here. Okay, so that is one of the views that are available to us, and we could add other things to this view, like we could add a 3D volume if we had it. We could add seismic lines. We could also add well logs to this. There's one more view that I want to show you here, and once again we're going to click on this menu, add tab, and we're going to add a projection view. And you'll notice a whole bunch of wells show up here, and it's unclear where these are coming from. But if we come over here to the map window, and I'm going to turn off some of my lines here. I'm going to turn off some of the shape files. And now you'll notice that we have this box. And I can grab this box and I can move it around. You'll notice this view moves. And we've got a few points here. We've got a square here on the top, and we've also got a couple of circles here. If I grab the circles, I can move this around. If I grab the square, I can shrink this window down. And when I do that, now you'll notice that as I move, the screen moves here. Still not, still a little bit challenging to orient. So I'm going to come here to this window, and I'm going to zoom out quite a bit, and I'm going to pan up. And now you'll notice that we have a couple of extra things here. So, I can choose where to show the top and bottom here. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to show minus 12,000 at the bottom, and I'm going to show sea level at the top. I'm going to put a 0 in there. And then I will pan a little bit as needed. I can also left click and zoom here, so I can zoom to some extents. And you'll notice this is quite wide compared to my grids here. So I'm going to zoom in here on the X, Y. And you'll notice that as I do that, that makes our display here a lot more rational. Once again, we'll zoom here. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing a slice through our structure grids here. So that's what these red lines are. Once again, this is our Parkman, our Niobrara, and we have our well bores here. And as we come through, we can see our various wells here. And if we were taking a look at some of our horizontal wells in here, we could look, for example, hey, where are the landing zones for those wells? We could also display well logs in this view, same as we could for a 3D view as well. So that's how we can take a slice view through to inspect some of our structure grids, and we can see how things are moving as we scroll through here. So it's a pretty neat view, and we can orient that, basically however we'd like. So, it gives you a nice way to scroll through those. All right, well, I hope that was useful, and that you are get some value out of being able to work in this more sophisticated map view, be able to view things in a projection, be able to view things in a 3D view, as well as viewing your cross sections and your maps all in one area. All right, thank you.